when I talk about this to my students at the university, I say, if all these countries were to become independent, there would be no more room for Eurovision Song Contest. We wouldn't be able to do it in 1 week. We would need 3 weeks to have the Eurovision Song Contest because they would all like to participate. And so they understand that way that too many countries, too many small countries is not a viable solution. But in this case, where people are subject to genocide and where people have been oppressed for so many years, there should be an automatic right to claim independence in order to get rid of the people who oppress you. I think, and I'm very serious about this is the only way to go for Artsakh. There can never be a solution where Azerbaijan gets hold of Nagorno-Karabakh, because then the population would have to flee and be radically eradicated. There would be an ethnic cleansing with lots of deaths, and all the churches, all the old churches, I think there are 400, 500 churches in Artsakh of good quality, old churches, important churches. There are monasteries. There are lots of cultural, of course, things like khachkars and everything Armenian there, and that would be eradicated, and it would, and the Turks would build a new modern states with mosques of last year's fashion and things like that. So it would be a catastrophe for the world. We would lose a lot of world heritage that way, and Armenians have lived there for thousands of years, so there is no reason why Armenians should give up their own territory. So I'll just mention very shortly the last 2008 resolution made in the United Nations General Assembly, where Azerbaijan itself actually came up with a resolution with a suggestion saying that Armenia should withdraw all its troops from the area, leave it to Azerbaijan, no buts and no negotiations, just do it. And they wanted a vote on that. Now, Azerbaijan come to me, and they come to every people and say, look at this resolution, very important. Yeah, look at the votes. Now, 39 countries voted in favor of that, 39. Now, imagine there are 200 countries in the world, 196 are members of the United Nations. So 39 countries supported Azerbaijan. I checked the list of the countries. Okay, let me say, they're probably not the most ethically known countries of the world who did this. You find on the list Pakistan, Bangladesh, you find Afghanistan, you find Central African Republic, you find Congo, you find a lot of Muslim countries who support Azerbaijan only because it's a Muslim country. There is no other reason, but they just do that. Indonesia did it, Malaysia did it. Of course, Georgia because of Abkhazia and problems with the Russians. But kind of the civilized, what I call countries, the democracies, including my country, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, France, Germany, all of these countries, United States, Canada, actually, United States voted actually against it and said that the OSCE groups should take care of it. So 7 countries actually supported Armenia in this case and voted against Azerbaijan. But then we have 140 countries. What happened to them? They did not vote. 40 of them didn't even show up. 100 of them said that, okay, we will vote blank. We will abstain because we want this conflict solved at the negotiating table. So we don't want Armenia to withdraw. We want it resolved at the negotiating table within the framework of the OSCE. So Azerbaijan can't say that the world supports them, all of them. Okay, 39 countries do, but that's not the majority of the world. Okay, the resolution. So this is kind of, you have to talk to them that way. You have to tell the world that if somebody throws a resolution at your face, read it and see what it really says. Because most people say, oh my God, look at all this, the UN is supporting Azerbaijan in everything. Okay, they must be right. But this is not how it works. The UN says that resolutions should be made after you've been to the negotiating table and figured out a way that's viable for all the parties involved. And when one of the parties come to the negotiating table saying that give us all or we will go to war, what can you do? So I think Armenia is 100% right and have done everything in their power to try to make this viable. They've spent a lot of money building Artsakh for its people, 140,000 souls living there, struggling every day to make ends meet, to actually being able to export a bottle of wine. If an Azeri sees that wine, it will break the bottle, it will make a fuss about it. They were at I was even there at the tourism convention in Berlin like 10 years ago, I don't remember, long time ago anyway. And Azerbaijanis wrecked their stand and made a lot of trouble and could not stand that Artsakh was represented. So actually that they're around the world and normal people like you and me do that. I mean, I wouldn't be in my dreams going over to some Azerbaijani stand and try wrecking the stand or try being racist towards Azerbaijanis. Nobody does that. I don't know any Armenians who would do it either. But actually what they do, of course, many of them are paid by Aliyev, and they have their viewpoints, but they don't want to hear the other side and they never listen. So this is really difficult. As to, did I pass a couple of things that you had planned for us to talk
No,
about?
Today, until now, I very much enjoy really your very thorough analysis of this conflict, and I think our audience will really appreciate the details, and I don't think you'd left anyone out. But moving forward, maybe you could help us understand 30 years, international community says go to the negotiating table, then we support you with the resolution. What failed? Why didn't it go? Why didn't it go well?
Yeah, there is only one reason for that, because Azerbaijan is a very strong and very rich country. I can only analyze out of the perspective of a Western person living in a very rich country, probably richer than yours and richer than most of the people listening to this. But we have so much oil in Norway, and we keep producing. I mean, we like Saudi Arabia, we even like Azerbaijan in that matter. Oil and gas, we export everywhere in the world. We have bank accounts that, I mean, that could save us for 200 years, all of us. Perfect health system, everything is fine, everything's working. Everybody's been taken care of. Azerbaijan is actually in the same situation, but Norway and other countries make a lot of money by investing in Azerbaijan because we have the technology, we have the manpower, we have done a lot of oil searching, oil drilling, gas drilling. So now we send our experts and our knowledge to Azerbaijan. We sell a lot. There is billions and billions of dollars involved. So of course, lots of the rich countries, the Western world, do not want to upset Azerbaijan. That's why we're neutral, so-called. Being neutral means actually you take the side of Azerbaijan, because that's what they want us to be. If you're neutral, you don't say stop when Azerbaijan calls Armenians by terrible racistic racist things. You don't try to stop the war. You just sit there and you say, well, put down the weapons and see if we can find a solution. It's the easy way to go for the world community. The United States know that they don't want to upset Turkey because Turkey is an important NATO member. I mean, it was really hard to get the Armenian genocide recognized, and it was kind of a, I don't know, milagro in Spanish, a wonder, a seventh wonder actually that the United States did that. But then they were upset about Turkey for some reason for a while there. And so international politics actually play such a great part in this that you can't get a moral and ethical solution of that conflict because nobody dares to get involved. The only exception, I will say, is France. France, Macron has been very clear right now and has always been very clear, supporting Armenia in both the genocide recognition and Artsakh. Been no problem at all, but he can't go in there with French military or with weapons and with aircrafts. I don't know why he could have done, but he doesn't do that. So everybody talks, nobody acts. So it's really difficult. Then, of course, you have the access thing that Armenia is a good friend of Iran. Armenia's got actually no choice. I mean, you're surrounded by Turkey and Azerbaijan, and you have a small border to Iran in the south, and Iranians are being nice to Armenia. They can have trade with Iran. It's a short way away. They can go back and forth across the border. So to survive, of course, Armenia, they need the friends that they can get. But then, of course, Israel gets involved and sells weapons to Azerbaijan, and very advanced weapons as well. And I think it's a shame. I mean, some of my Jewish friends say that if you say things like that, you could be an anti-Semitic and it's really bad. But I'm saying it anyway. Israel is doing a very bad job. And I think it's a shame that a state built upon actually the survivors of the 6 million Jews who were killed in the Holocaust, they now support another country that is doing a probable Holocaust towards another people. It's not Tajik. It's got nothing to do with normal Jews, but it has to do with Netanyahu and his government. That he actually does that, it's a big shame. So you see, this is international politics, and it doesn't give you any advantage being nice to Armenia or supporting Armenia. Armenia can't contribute to anything but poetry, literature, art, nice people, hospitable people, wonderful country, things that are righteous, things that we should do, ethical things. So anybody who does anything for Armenia is the ethical person, is the person who wants morale to survive. Whereas the rest of the world are just sitting on their asses saying that, oh, we're neutral, you see, but still neutrality, supporting Azerbaijan with billions of dollars so that they can buy more weapons. So that's mostly the reason why nothing has happened, because we could have forced Azerbaijan to give in. We could have forced a solution. We could have put a lot of troops down there from NATO saying that, okay, this part goes to Azerbaijan. Armenia will have to give up some of the security zone, but we guarantee 100% not one Armenian will be killed in his own homeland. Nobody did that. They say, find your own solution. And that's the problem.
So then what I really liked when you talked about morality and the indifference of the international community. Now the small man, he thinks, what can he do? Can you reflect on morality of civil society in an international context and what it can or cannot achieve?
The small man, if there are many small men can do a lot. For example, you can support Armenia by even sharing on social media. Try to talk to people, bring it to your workplace, talk about Armenia, let people have Armenian wines, give them items made in Armenia, make them aware of this country, of this fabulous country. At the time we could travel, go to Armenia, drop the Turkish coastline, drop Gran Canaria, drop Mallorca, go to Armenia, try to go to a cultural trip where you can actually have a lot of parties, a lot of food, experience something fantastic, and then share, make people aware of the genocide, of Artsakh conflict, about the racism, about everything. And once people get to Armenia, they will be so surprised at how fantastic it is, and they will bring it further. So I'm a small man. I did all this. I took all these people there, and it's spreading. People are talking about it. They ask me to hold lectures. I personally get a lot. Actually, I get a high salary for this because I get friends. I feel comfortable. I'm doing something. I'm interested. I'm motivated. It gives me kind of a motivation to feel that I'm alive, that I'm doing something for a lot of people. Even if it doesn't help, Norway is not going to recognize the genocide. The war with Artsakh is not going to stop, but bring awareness to a lot of people. And then one day there will be enough people to kind of claim their right to have a say in these matters with your government. Write to newspapers, write articles, try to read books to get kind of updated on the facts, and try to discuss with the people. I think there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And also I'm thinking people with small businesses, why not try what Kim Kardashian didn't do? She invested in Turkey for her beauty products. Now she realizes that, why can't I do this in Armenia? And so she's going to do it. It's a very nice story that, you know, how I felt that I did something important for Armenia, because as you all know, or should know, is that Armenia is actually the most exciting wine country in the world nowadays. Because during Soviet times, Armenia produced shitty wine because they were not allowed, actually. They had to produce cognac, whereas Georgia was the wine producer. But people still on the farms, of course, they made their own wine and they enjoyed their own wine. But it was not for export, maybe a little bit to Russia, but then nothing else. So they didn't refine it. After Armenia became independent, a lot of wineries or wine people came back to Armenia from Spurk situation in Italy, Argentina, USA, even France, and started their own small wineries. And they found all these old Armenian grapes. I think there were like 400 or 500 different grapes in Armenia that are endemic to only Armenia. And so they started producing fantastic wines with all their experience from Europe, with new grapes, new ways of making wine, maybe picking up the very old ways like Karas, where they have them in these big karasses, and
I know.
fantastic wine. So I found out that when we were in Armenia, Norwegians usually drink a lot when they're traveling. In Armenia too, they like that wine so much. When we came back, they called me and said, "Where can we get this? In Norway we have these wine stores owned by the state." So they said, "Which one has Armenian wine?" And I said, "No, none of them have." So what I did was I started calling because they have a customer service in this state store, and I called every day for 1 week or 10 days actually. I called and I asked, I was looking for Armenian wine today at your store. Armenia is the oldest wine country in the world, so why don't you have some Armenian wine? And they would say, well, we have so much other wine. You can buy Georgian wine, Romanian wine, whatever. We just have some German red wine. And I said, Germans, can they make red wine now? Oh, yes. Okay, so why don't you try Armenian wine, because it's probably a lot better. And they said, no, we can't do that, and it's very complicated. Next day I called again, and the thing was the same guy who picked up the phone. So I changed my dialect. I would do it in Northern Norwegian, Southern Norwegian, Oslo dialect. Even I did Danish, Swedish, German accent, English accent, and they didn't get it. So he said, now I wonder why the hell would people call 10 days in a row asking for Armenian wine? The last time I called, I said, I don't know. I just went to your store and you didn't have Armenian wine. And I asked everybody else that I have on Facebook to do the same thing. So there was a rush of people calling. And then after half a year, actually, we got the first Armenian wine in Norway, Sora Karasi, the white wine, and the red wine. And it's still there, but they haven't taken in any other marks or any other bottles. So we'll have to try again to get more choice. Now, Sweden, our neighbors, they have like 20 different kinds of Armenian wine. So a lot of people go there to get it. But these are the things that, people can do to influence on businesses around the world. And Armenia really need those businesses, and they're so honest people. So I would easily invest my money to some Armenian in Armenia, because I've never experienced anybody trying to cheat me. They're honest people, really. They don't. If you go to the store, you get a price. That's the price. If you go to the market, you could try to get a cheaper price, and they will give it to you. But it's not the system. It's not the way you do it in Armenia. You pay the price you get, and it's always very low. For us, it's very low. For them, it's not. But for Europeans, it's almost for free. Very many things that each individual can do. And I'm also thinking there's one very important thing that I really hope everybody who listens to this will do. Please boycott everything Turkish now. We've been going on for so long buying Turkish this and Turkish that. Get some other countries' merchandise, because now when they're supporting a new genocide, Turkey deserves to bleed very hard for what they're doing. Saudi Arabia is actually the first country boycotting Turkey totally. I wish Norway would be the second one. France are now trying to boycott Turkey. Don't go there. Tell them we don't want the continuation of the first genocide. Stop this madness. And really, we should, as customers, do what we can to avoid anything Turkish. In Henderson Mauritz, which is a Swedish clothes company, they sell socks, all of them made in Turkey. I buy 50 pair of socks when I first buy them, because I lose them and they are not pairs, guys, how that is. So I go there, I buy 50 pairs. I came to the cash register and I started looking, where are they made actually? They were all made in Turkey. So I asked, do you have socks only made in Turkey? And she said, yeah, why do you care where they come from? You're not going to talk to those socks. No, but they were made by a genocidal country and I don't want to buy them. And then she said, well, you can't buy socks here. I went to another store and found socks made in Malaysia instead. So these are things that everybody can do. And if people look at you strangely, in Norway they will, because nobody talks about boycotting Turkey here. So they think that I'm a lunatic. Fine, they can think I'm a lunatic. But at least I have 30 friends now also boycotting Turkish products. So we start there, and more and more people will do it.
Yes, Sven, I can only say thank you for your insights, for your perspectives, and undoubtedly they are incredibly valuable and offer innovative and creative ideas to start a new revolution, maybe to find a new solution and resolution. So I'm concluding today's interview. I hope we continue, but do you wish to drop any last few words?
I'm very happy to have this opportunity, actually, to talk to a lot of people via Faces of Armenia. So I'm very thankful for that, because this is a great opportunity for me to share my views and also help Armenia. And it's a good way of helping Armenia, letting people know my story and how I feel. And then people might not agree with me, people might agree a little bit, but that's fine. I've managed to make my point, and then people can like it or not. But I'm happy that I have a chance of speaking to people all around the world. So this is a great opportunity for me. So thank you so much for having given me this chance.